In the heart of what we now call Nigeria, nestled within lush, misty forests, a civilization arose that would shape the destiny of West Africa for nearly a millennium. This is the story of the Yoruba Kingdoms, a saga woven from myth, metal, and sheer human ingenuity. From the thousands to the 1800s, great city-states like sacred Ile-Ife and the mighty Oyo Empire flourished, leaving behind a legacy of breathtaking art and sophisticated governance that still captivates us today. But behind the gleaming bronze sculptures and the powerful thrones, what secrets did they hold? What divine origins and earthly conflicts defined their rise and fall? Join us as we journey back in time to uncover the enigmatic history of the Yoruba people. Our story begins in Ile-Ife, the spiritual cradle of the Yoruba world. While its roots stretch back to as early as 500 BCE, it was around the 11th century that Ife truly blossomed into the epicenter of Yoruba culture and religion. Legend whispers that this is where humanity began. It was here, at Ile-Ife, that the supreme deity, Olodumare, sent his son, Oduduwa, down from the heavens on a chain, carrying a handful of earth, a cockerel, and a palm nut. The cockerel scratched the earth, spreading it to create the land, and Oduduwa became the first divine king, the progenitor of all Yoruba rulers. This creation myth is more than just a story. It's the foundation of a complex worldview that deeply intertwined the spiritual and political realms. Ile-Ife was not just a city, it was the center of the universe, the place where the veil between gods and mortals was thinnest. The Oni, the king of Ife, was seen as a direct descendant of Oduduwa, a sacred figure who acted as the chief intermediary between the people and the pantheon of deities known as Orishas. But the legacy of Ife is not just written in myth. It's cast in bronze and sculpted in terracotta. The artists of Ife were masters of their craft, creating some of the most naturalistic and technically brilliant sculptures in human history. Using the lost wax casting method, they produced stunningly realistic heads and figures believed to represent royalty and divine beings. These aren't just portraits, they are vessels of spiritual essence, or A's. The serene expressions, the intricate scarification marks, the elaborate beaded regalia, each detail was a symbol of power, divine authority, and the Yoruba concept of beauty as a reflection of good character. The discovery of these masterpieces in the early 20th century shattered colonial preconceptions about African art and civilization, proving a rich, classical tradition had flourished for centuries. While Ile-Ife remained the undisputed spiritual heartland, political power began to shift. By the 15th century, another Yoruba state was on the rise, one that would build a formidable empire not just on spiritual legitimacy, but on military might and economic prowess. This was the Oyo Empire. Founded, according to tradition, by Oranmiyan, a son or grandson of Oduduwa, Oyo was strategically located in the savannah, giving it a crucial advantage: horses. While the tsetse fly of the southern forests limited the use of cavalry, Oyo's location allowed them to build a powerful mounted army. From the 1600s onward, the Oyo Empire embarked on a period of massive expansion. Its famed cavalry, a terrifying and effective force, thundered across West Africa, conquering neighboring territories and vassal states. The empire's influence stretched from the Atlantic coast deep into the interior, controlling key trade routes. Oyo's economy boomed. They traded goods like cloth, kola nuts, and salt. But their wealth was also tragically built upon the transatlantic slave trade, capturing and selling people from conquered regions. This economic power fueled the empire's growth, making its capital, Oyo-Ile, one of the most populous and influential cities in Africa. Yet, the genius of Oyo wasn't just in its military. It was in its incredibly sophisticated system of governance, a masterclass in checks and balances that predated many Western democratic ideas. At the top was the Alafin, the emperor of Oyo. Like the Oni of Ife, he was a sacred king, but his power was far from absolute. He was checked by a powerful council of kingmakers and hereditary nobles known as the Oyomesi, led by the Basharun, or prime minister. The Oyomesi had the authority to select the next Alafin and, crucially, the power to depose him. If they judged an Alafin to be tyrannical or incompetent, they could present him with an empty calabash, a symbolic command to take his own life. This balance of power extended even further. Secret societies, most notably the Ogboni, served as another check on both the Alaafin and the Oyo Mesi. Composed of respected elders, the Ogboni cult held significant judicial and religious influence, mediating disputes and ensuring that no single faction grew too powerful. This intricate web of monarchy, aristocracy, and council oversight created a stable and resilient political structure that allowed the empire to thrive for centuries. It was a system built on participation, justice, and a deep understanding that power, to be sustained, must be shared. However, no empire lasts forever. By the late 18th and early 19th centuries, the foundations of Oyo began to crack. The immense wealth and power that had built the empire also sowed the seeds of its destruction. Internal power struggles became more frequent and vicious. Ambitious provincial chiefs, enriched by trade, began to challenge the central authority of the Alafin. Rebellions simmered across the vast territory. The external pressures were just as devastating. To the west, the kingdom of Dahomey, once a vassal state, grew increasingly defiant, leading to a series of bloody wars. But the most significant threat came from the north. The Fulani Jihad, a wave of Islamic revivalism and conquest, swept down from the Sahel. Led by Usman Dan Fodio, the Fulani warriors, armed with religious zeal and military skill, began to chip away at Oyo's northern territories, eventually sacking the capital, Oyo Ile, around 1836. The collapse was catastrophic. The fall of Oyo Ile created a massive power vacuum, plunging the Yoruba region into a century of civil war as various city-states like Ibadan, Abeokuta, and Ijebu vied for supremacy. This period of internal conflict left the Yoruba people vulnerable and divided, just as a new, formidable power was arriving on the coast, the British Empire. By the end of the 19th century, the era of the great Yoruba Kingdoms was over, and the shadow of colonialism had fallen across the land. From heavenly thrones to a realm fractured by war, the story of the Yoruba Kingdoms is a powerful epic of creation, innovation, and conflict. The bronze and terracotta heads of Ife stare out at us from museum cases, their serene faces whispering of a lost golden age and advanced artistic techniques. The complex political system of Oyo offers a timeless lesson in governance and the perils of unchecked ambition. Did Oduduwa's divine mandate simply run its course? Or did the kingdoms forget the secrets of unity that had once made them so strong? The full enigma of their rise and fall remains, a fascinating puzzle waiting to be explored. What do you think? What lessons can we learn today from the sophisticated governance of Oyo or the artistic brilliance of Ife? Share your thoughts and interpretations in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think about this incredible chapter of world history. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this video and want to uncover more hidden histories, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you next time.